Hi folks, this is Matthew here. We're going to look today at the Hive Roaster line of products. Here's the Costco Bell. This is kind of our base model, the standard handheld roaster. This roasts 150 to 180 grams, so 5 or 6 ounces of coffee at a time. This is the only home roaster that's going to give you the same kind of results that you'd get from a commercial roaster. That's really the important thing to know. The reason for that is the design of it. There's a hole in the center of the bottom that allows hot air to fill the inside of the dome with heat, which gives you conductive heat as well as convective heat. And so the result of it is just really, really, really good quality coffee. I'd put it up against any commercial roaster here in the San Francisco Bay Area, which is some of the best coffee in the world. Here we're showing kind of how to load it. You take the lid off, you throw some beans in. It's really a simple process. I think that these beans are decaf based on the color. I know I've been messing around with some decaf roast lately, trying to see what I could get out of it. It's a nice thing, you don't like what you get in the store, you can try your own, and you can really develop all sorts of different profiles. It's really cool. So here's the basic roasting action. You just basically swirl the sucker around like that, and you can shake it back and forth, forward to back, round in circles. I tend to like the circles the best. The height of the roaster, how high it is off the flame, will change your airflow. So the lower that you are, the less air. The higher that you are, the more air. When your roast is done, you just dump it out. Flip the roaster upside down. You don't need to take the lid off, and the beans will come right out of the hole there. So it can't really be that much easier. You got your roaster, you got a sieve, and you got a stove, and you pretty much got everything you need. I mean, look at the quality of the coffee that this provided. It's just beautiful. And so this is a roaster that's been run a while. This one I've probably done 100, 150 roasts on. You can see it's discolored. The silver turns to kind of a golden color, and then the inside it gets this coating of coffee oil that kind of burns on, and it gives it a real non-stick surface. And I really like them when they get like this. I don't ever clean them. I just kind of brush them out, and I'm ready for the next use. So that one, you can see what the handle looks like, how it wears in. I think they wear really nicely. This is the original data dome. This has a K-type thermocouple installed in the lid. The probe tip is positioned down into the beans so that you're reading the most accurate bean temperature possible. This just comes with bare wires on it, so you're going to need to figure out how to connect this. And there's a lot of different options. You can use a multimeter that will already read temperature, K-type temperature. You can get a data bridge, which is a computer board basically that converts the microvoltage that the thermocouple creates into a data signal that your computer can read. Or there's also a lot of standalone little meters that you can connect to. None of it's very expensive, so this is a really good way to get started with data roasting. And also comes with an extra lid, so that way you can learn to roast without the data, because it's a really valuable skill. This is the Fahrenheit digital dome. The digital dome basically has a temperature readout in that separate small dome that you can read all the time. It uses a USB connection for power. There's no data being transferred through this, so this isn't going to send anything to your computer. It's only using the cord for voltage. So the Fahrenheit meter shows red. The display is red. Here again you can see the probe. Right now we're reading basically room temperature. You can see as I touch it, it heats it up, and it was already reacting. It went from 74 to 75 degrees just from me touching the probe. These are a very, very accurate probe and meter setup. I pop almost exactly 390 degrees on every roast when I use this setup. This is the Celsius model. It's the same basic setup. It's just it reads in Celsius instead of in Fahrenheit, and the display is blue instead of red. That's just how I get them from the manufacturer. I'm not sure what the difference in the color is, but again, USB connection, but it only uses the USB for power, and there's no data transfer to your computer. So here you can see it's reading around 22 degrees Celsius, which is around 73 degrees Fahrenheit. So basically room temperature. It's the same probe. It's a Fidget's brand K-type thermocouple. Again, I've got that bend on the end of it to get it down inside the bean mass and cause the least amount of disruption possible for when you're roasting. Really a nice setup, super convenient. This is the plug and play. This requires a computer of some sort to be able to connect to. So anything with a USB. So you can use a Mac with an adapter, or you can use a regular PC. So inside of that little dome, there's a circuit board that is a data bridge. It takes a micro voltage that the thermocouple produces, and it converts it into a data signal that your laptop or your computer can then read. Now, once you have this set up, you can download different software, roasting software. There's Artisan, there's Cropster, and there's a few others. Some of them are free to download, but they're donationware. So I really encourage you, if you do, to download one, to throw the developer a couple dollars so they can continue to develop these products. Cropster is a paid subscription; you're paying monthly for it. This is used a lot by commercial roasters as a sampling product. So when they're trying to determine, what's the best way to roast a batch of coffee, they can use this and they can save the data and then put it into their roaster with a one-to-one conversion and go ahead and run the same profile on a commercial roaster and get basically the same results. This is a type of a stove. This is a butane stove. You can use pretty much any kind of a gas stove as long as it's a gas, not a liquid fuel. Electric does work. It just doesn't work as well. I really like the results of the gas stove. There's a variety of benefits to it. You can see these use a butane can. I don't really like buying the cans, but they're also not very expensive. They're like $3 each. I get like 10 to 12 roasts out of them depending on how I'm doing it. Here we're going to roast some coffee. Again, this is that same roaster I showed you earlier that's used. So we pour the beans in. I'm almost positive this is decaf. It has that look. It's kind of a beige color. It doesn't quite look like a single origin. The decaf gets a different color to the green coffee. It roasts up about the same, although it tends to rush between pop or before the pop, between like yellow and pop. So as you're approaching 390 degrees, it takes on the heat really, really quickly, as opposed to like a dense natural, which you might have to kind of put a lot more heat to. So here we are roasting. I'm not going to bore you with the entire roast. We're just going to kind of jump ahead a bunch of times here. So you can see the temperature display on the left. It looks like we're probably at 50 degrees, ready to rise, dropping down to 30, down to 20. Near the end of the roast, we'll be down around 5 degrees, ready to rise. And then when you get to the point that you think you're done, you start hearing the beans pop like you can right now. Hear that? It's done. Once the pop stops, give it a few seconds and then you go ahead and dump it out. And so this is, dried out of the roaster. You can see there's still smoke, and those beans are 400 degrees or 418 degrees, whatever it was. And here's a couple close-ups of it. So again, the Hive Roaster really just makes phenomenal coffee. It's the only only home roaster that's really used in a professional environment as a sampling roaster. None of the other ones will even come close. So, check us out on Instagram, check us out on Facebook, follow us on YouTube, and really hope to see you guys join the fun, because it's a fun community and we're all over the world. And the thing that brings us all together is we love to roast.